Hello and welcome to Tiny Blue Games. Today we're playing WIldstar and my name is Chris or Seesaw. Today we're going to be looking at the Veteran War of the Wilds adventure and we're going to sort of show you one of the best paths to get gold on it. Obviously there's different ways to do this in order to get gold. And it's obviously, especially for this adventure, it's been switching around sort of what you need to get gold. They've been patching it on and off. So in the current state of the game, this is the best way for us to get gold relatively quickly and relatively pain-free. So what you're going to do is you're going to cap that first totem over there. I'm just going to do the first part here in 1.5 times speed as to speed things up, because the really only part of this first part you need to know is sort of what totems you want to get. It's not the complicated part. So you grab the very first one out the door and you take the very first one to the right there. Apart from that, you're going to be going left and you're going to be taking all the ones up the path here, which would be south on your map. So you take this one, you take the next one, and then you take the two up there, up in the hills there, which we'll get to in a second. And the reason you don't want to take too many totems is you don't want to finish it too quickly. Because I should go over this right now, I guess. The way you get gold in this is not about doing it quickly, which is kind of weird because you'd think in a game like this it would be more about who beats who first, but it's not necessarily about that. The criteria is that you need more totems than them in the end. Obviously you need to kill their big skull thingy obviously as well. You have to kill at least 5 champions, and that means your players have to kill them, not your moody guys, but you as people have to kill them. This number could go up if you have deaths. You have to kill another one for each death you have. And then the most important part of this is that you also need to complete 2 optionals. The first one will arrive about 3 to 5 minutes in, and the second one about 10 to 15 minutes in. So you head up here and you take these 2 totems as well. You can pull both of them together or not. It's a bit quicker to pull them together, but really you're not in a huge time crunch, and it's pretty simple to go and do the first little bit here without too much difficulty. If you're the tank, you might want to pull the other guys off first, or else you have one chasing someone around and you don't realize it for a little while. Like you saw here. So you take these 2 totems, and really your entire group's sticking together for this. It's about DPSing it down quickly. The tanking's not hard, the healing's not hard. I mean, it's not hard at all for that aspect in this adventure. Maybe the healing at points would be a bit more tough. Tanking's pretty decent as long as you keep most of the moodies on you, as well as just sort of keep them off of your healer, I guess is the big thing. So this is where things get a bit more interesting. You'll go up the side of the map here. This is still up on the left side, and this is about as far as you're going to go up. You're going to get to this little passage here, and pretty much every time you're going to see about 1 to 3 enemy champions in and around here. Obviously it can be a bit different if especially if you get a tip from your commander person that they're attacking your base front on. You'll see maybe only 1 person here, or even none, and they'll all be up there, and you'll go and do what we're about to do in a second first. But if you see people here, you want to kill them right away, because like I said before, you want the 5 champion kills, and this is a good way to get a good couple or 3 of them out of the way. It's very convenient because you don't have very many skeech with you at this point, so they're not going to jack your kills or whatever. So just really make sure you focus on getting the killing blow. I know Marks, or Jesus if you prefer in this game, he likes to sort of save up his big damage attacks on a stalker for the very end of their health to make sure that he gets it. Not to steal it from any of our other people, but just to make sure that you do get it. You also want to make sure you get enough XP before you end the game. I've heard that you need a combined level of 5 or something like that, so everyone could be like level 1 or something like that, or some people could be 3 and some people could be 1. I've never had a trouble with that, so I'm not sure at what point you would fail, but that seems to be about the case. As you saw here, what we did after killing the people is we came back down to the center, and this sort of center area around this totem is where you're going to be chilling pretty much while you're waiting for the optional to come, because that's the next part here. You don't want to take too many totems, you just want to chill at this stage, and that's what we do here. So I'll just skip ahead to the first optional. Alright, so as you can see here, we actually decide to try and kill the big guy in the center here. before the first option spawns, which it's about to do on the very right hand side. You can see it come up in a second here. Usually you do this between the first and the second option. We were feeling like we'd done the first part very quick and we were trying to get it out of the way, but to no luck, because as we were doing it, we got the mission to kill 20 Skeech, or 20 Moodies, the enemy little guys there. So really for that one, you just want to, especially if you're killing the boss, you just have to drop what you're doing and you have to do the optionals, what you have to do. No matter what you're in the middle of, you have to really drop it and you have to get on it right away because each optional is timed. The 20 Moodies is one of the easier options. There's, what is there, like 5 of them? Here, I'll list a bunch of them right now. There's the 20 Moodies, which we're doing right now. There's the don't die for about 2 minutes, which is by far the easiest one, because all you have to do is just stay alive. 20 Moodies is pretty easy because you get like 5 minutes to do it. There's the Shrine one, where you have to kill one of the big 3 bosses, and then you take the Shrine once it gives you the optional. That's why we were killing the boss, actually, in the first place. Because what you like to do between the first and second one is you like to have the boss dead. That way, if you get the Shrine optional, you can just take the Shrine right away and you don't have to wait to kill the boss. And that actually is the next optional we get, which I'll show you in a second here. So there's that one. There's kill 4 champions, which is relatively hard for the time frame you have. What you need to do really is you need to go and walk down to their base usually and scout out some champions, or have one of your fellow players go out to the sides and scout out some champions, and then they just can request your help and everyone can teleport in, which is really good. For that though, it doesn't matter if the Skeech themselves kill it, so it's not like you have to be cautious about that, which is great. However, it ties in very well with the amount of kills you're going to need to get gold anyways, so if you're able to kill them yourselves, do so. Definitely if you're not in a huge time crunch, but it is something that needs to be done pretty quick. The hardest one for me is probably when they give you a specific champion target. So, you know, say it's like Zappos or something like that, and you need to go find them on the map first and then kill them. And often what you find is they're like lurking off in their base somewhere, and you have to like pull the entire enemy team for a little while to kill it, which is, it's really hard because they don't give you a lot of time to do it too. So that's by far the hardest one for me. But yeah, so we're gonna kill off the Moodies here. It was looking questionable for a little while, but we did end up getting enough of them in the end. And what you want to do really is, if you have to do this one, is just push up and make sure you have your DPS there, and the tank should be doing a pretty good job of rounding them up, or at least making sure you have most of them. Because as a tank, I can say that it's a little hard to see all of them all the time because you have them coming from all the different directions. So you just give the tank a few seconds to see where everyone's where everyone is, right? I mean, that's kind of the hard part here, especially if you have some champions, because they can't actually be taunted very much. They have their own mind to them, as they like, so there's not a ton we can do on that aspect. But you see here we're about to finish the optional pretty well. The first one's usually not hard to do. I've never really gotten a hard one. You often actually see the don't die as the first one. The Moody is a pretty good one. So right there we just finish it. And that's the first one. So what you do now after you kill the first one is you pull back usually, and you stay in that middle area. And there's a few things you want to do. You want to kill the big boss in the middle there. We usually do that guy, but today we actually did the ice boss up to the right side if you're looking, or if you're coming straight out. So you'll see that in a second there. And you just want to kill one of the bosses and make sure you can take the shrine when you need to. Once you've killed one of the bosses, all you're going to do is stay in the middle and wait, and pretty much kill champions if you have the choice. So I'll skip ahead to the boss kill for you guys. Alright, so here we are at the big ice boss here, and I'm just going to actually put this into 2x speed so it goes by pretty quick. A, because he doesn't have a ton of mechanics, and B, because he has a certain ability that glitches up my graphics for some reason. We talked about in other videos that there's a few monsters that just have some sort of ability that freezes my computer up for a second, and just forces me to do absolutely... Right here, you see? It just freezes up and tries to load it for an extremely long time. Luckily for us, this wasn't a very hard boss. I'd say he's arguably the easiest. Him or the guy in the middle of what you want to do, really, for the shrines. I wouldn't recommend the one to the left, as it's got a lot more mechanics that could kill you. And not that killing will lose you the gold, it's just you have to kill more champions to make up for it, and no one wants to spend more time in here if they don't have to. But honestly, though, I don't know what that skill really does or whatever, but, you know, it's his lag skill. We'll just call it that for right now. It's his ability that lags you. It's a fun time. So you see that we kill him pretty good. You're going to get another piece of loot after, I think, killing him, which is pretty handy too, especially since a lot of people still need the blues. And you get quite a few throughout this adventure. Obviously, we're here for the purple, but, you know, enough blues is nice too, and you can always disenchant them or whatever, so, or salvage, I guess, in this game. So we're just going to move up back to the center here. And what we're going to do kind of in the center is we're going to fight all the Moody's back to their first sort of totem there right before the center for their side. We're going to fight them back there so that they're not pushing too hard into the middle. And then you're going to just be waiting there, killing champions if you see them and just fending off the Moody's. You could even stand on a rock. Sometimes we do that if it's looking pretty comfortable. But right here you see on the right, that's the totem you want to kind of fight them to. So you fight anyone in here. I engaged the champs right away and pull them back. But we've already got a little bit of a fight going on over here. So you just do that for about roughly 5 minutes until the next optional spawns, which I'll jump ahead to because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Alright, so as you can see here, at this point we are just sort of resting on the rock waiting for the next optional to spawn. I mean, there's no point really getting too deep into combat because you're going to have to break out of it right away when the optional spawns, as well as there's always the chance that you'll somehow die in some freak accident, and that really sucks, especially if you know, didn't have a ton of champion kills to begin with. So like I said before, the optional that's going to spawn here in a second, which will in a moment, is going to be to get the shrine, which we'd already killed the boss for, and we have I think our stalker or something like that in the group is waiting there right now, and he's going to complete it right away because he was just waiting there, and then we request him to come right back here, as you can see, and we're done the optional within like 10 seconds of it being there. Oh, here's a quick look at the map. So the next step is really to take all the remaining totems you need, and then obviously just win. At this point, it is just winning as quick as you can. So I'm gonna speed it up here in a second. What we do is we go capture pretty much all the totems and make sure all the paths are clear for the Skeech just to flood into their base, and that's kind of the quickest win. I mean, you could go straight up the middle and do a lot of the attacking yourself, but especially with the shrine on, your Skeech are really gonna push you forward quite quickly. Because they have the power to cut through a lot of the Moody's at this point with how many numbers and all that. So just make sure you loosen up both sides, like both the left and the right side, as well as the center. It's really good to use the request thing. If you send someone to one side and then they request your group over, and then you can go to the other side as well. It really cuts down the travel time, which is great. Be sure when you take this totem up here that we walked by earlier, to go and unclog this sort of valley area, which you definitely notice that there's usually a lot of Moody's in there that are blocking off your line of Skeech from coming through here, because you do usually have a number of them. You might also find sometimes that one of the champions will sort of push up one of the routes by themselves in a weird kind of fashion, and you might have to backtrack into your base a little bit and make sure you clear them out, because you never want them to somehow beat you, especially when you're guaranteed gold, which is, I can't think of a fate more terrible than that. So the big fights are going to be kind of the middle to the very front of their base there, especially when you get to the entrance of their little area there. You're going to notice that a lot of the enemy champions are going to come and attack you. It's really good to rack up some more kills just to be on the very sure side of things, especially if you do have a few deaths throughout the adventure. This is where you can make up for it by killing a few of them. It is harder at this point to make sure the Skeech don't get the kills themselves. But as long as you have, like I say, a stalker or maybe a spellslinger save a few high DPS abilities for the very end, you should be good, and it shouldn't be an issue. The big thing really at this point is to make sure you stick together as a group, because that's the way that they'll pick you off if you're not close enough together and you're not by the healer. And it's just terrible to have someone die this far in. So you see here our Skeech are able to just take it down very quickly there without us even having to touch it. And now we get portaled to the end to receive our gold medal, which unfortunately for me was not a epic tank gun, but it was a very nice pair of resonators, which I think our healer was a medic. We do have a medic in here of some sorts. will greatly appreciate the resonators at any rate, which are right there. You can take a quick peek at them if you want. The gold is pretty easy to get at this point. Just make sure you do the optionals. That's the real big thing. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to Tiny Blue Games for more WildStar videos. Thanks, guys.